What's going on? Can everyone hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Wave, wave. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all chiming in. My name is Kensley Dougan, your head financial coach. I appreciate you guys tuning in to New Year, New You. New Year, New You. I'm hoping you guys are excited. I'm super duper excited. We're going to have a live dialogue at the end. I'm going to break down exactly how to get to your goals, man, how to get to exactly where you want to be, right? Because it's a new year, 2022. You want to not do the same habits that you did in 2021 and prior to that, right? So, let's kind of jump into it. The beauty of this is, man, I came across Cool Dads sometime last year, and I seen what their mission was, right? The mission was to aid and uplift all fathers of color striving to build a better world for their children and to serve the communities in which they live. And then once I seen that their vision was to eradicate the negative stigma surrounding Black fathers of color and their children, through fellowship and enlightenment and action. I mean, like, come on, man. With those visions and missions, I had to join. I had to do it because that's me. That's who it talks to, right? It speaks to me. It speaks to my soul. That's what I do every day. My job as a financial coach is to help people make the right decisions, right? Especially people within my community. More importantly, like, I gravitated towards finance because this is information that was not privy to me. This is information that I did not know about, and I was just like infatuated. And it got me to a place where I'm like, "Hey, Kensley, like, why do you have such a passion for finance and helping people make the right financial decision?" So I really started thinking about it, and I realized that it was a situation in my life that happened, and I was like, "Hey, I need to know, that why did I actually enter into this field?" So we're going to talk about my why, and then we're going to expand upon mindset, right? We're going to look at accountability. Who's going to make sure that you're getting to your goals? Who's going to make sure that you're doing the things that's necessary to be done to actually make things happen? We're also going to look at goals, right? What are goals? There's several different types of goals that people are unaware of, and how to attain these goals. So we're going to use some implementation strategies. And I definitely want to have a dialogue with those who are in attendance, because I want to make sure that, I'm doing this as much for you as possible within this hour, right? And last, we want to open up to questions and answers. While in question and answers, we have a chat box that I would love for you guys to, put any kind of questions in so I could respond to that. It's okay if you do it while I'm speaking. It's fine, but we'll try to get to it. We'll try to get to as many questions as possible. But I'm super excited to dive into it. So, what got me here, man? What is my why, right? Because I'm hoping that, being that we're not in person, I'm hoping that you're feeling my energy and you're feeling my passion, because I love what I do. I love helping people. I love helping people make the right financial decisions. All right. I love helping people set up 4 or 5 moves ahead of their next step, right? And that's what I love. I have a drive for this. Now, as I said earlier, I wanted to really understand why. Like, what was it in my life that got me to this moment? So I was thinking about it, and I was like, I remember vividly one situation when I was a kid. I'm a product of a single mother household. My father left when he was around, when we were around 8 or 9. And there was a situation when I came home from school, because as I said, my mom, she worked 2 jobs. She was a nurse, so she worked a night shift at night. Then she would come home in the morning, make sure that me and my 2 sisters were off to school. She would grab something to eat and run right back out and work another few hours up until 12, then come home, go to sleep, and then do it all again. So coming home from school, you know, I went in to check on her to make sure that, you know, she was okay, check to see how her day was. And then she was like, hey, you know, I'm tired, but, you know, we need to get some food for dinner. I need to cook, but we don't have any groceries. I need you to run to the store. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, where's the money? And she was like, well, I haven't gotten paid yet, but all I have is this bag of change. So I was like, you know, I was kind of like shocked and a little bit embarrassed, but don't get it twisted. I love my mother. I love this situation, but I took this bag and I was like, okay. So I was trying to hide it for the longest before we got to the store. So I'm talking to my friends. I'm kind of hanging towards the back so they don't see me, right? So we finally get into the grocery store. We buying all the groceries. Now this is judgment time. It's like I gotta own up because now I gotta pay for this. So while we rung everything up, I had to dump the bag of change on the conveyor belt. And we're sitting there for like 10, 15 minutes, just going through all the change to count up to make sure that we had enough to pay for those groceries. When I mean I was very, very embarrassed, I was, but it was such a humbling moment for me. It was a moment that I remember so vividly because it got me to where I am today. It got me to have a passion to make sure that one, that ever happens again and my kids don't have to go through that. But I'm loving the fact that I went through it because I went through it so I could now have the vision, the passion, the motivation to help other people's, right? That's what I love most about that situation. And I love my mother for what she did because she was a hard worker and she did her best to make sure things happen. Now, taking that and balling it up and putting it inside of me to make sure that whoever I come across or whoever is on the other side of my table, I have that same level of energy to make sure that they achieve their goals. You come to this workshop because you want to change, right? You want a new you. You want to do things differently. Well, you landed at the right place. You're talking to the right person because guess what? I know I can help you, right? And I want to make sure that we put the right mindset in place. We put the right passion behind it, and we put the right goals in place to make sure that you get to where you need to go. So one of the things that, you know, as far as like things, missions or sayings that I kind of live by is that, you know, anytime you have opportunity to make a difference in this world and you don't, then you're wasting your time on this earth. And that's how I wake up every day, right? I wake up every day trying to get this. I wake up every day trying to achieve my goals, right? And I woke up, new year, new you came in because I wanted to make a difference in 2022. I wanted to make sure I was impacting as many people as possible, right? So I'm putting out all my feelers to make sure that we're doing what's necessary to get you to where you need to go, right? So let's dive into it. So one of the things that that you need to focus on is mindset, right? Mindset. What is that? Why are you getting up every day? Why are you so gung-ho to get to whatever goal you have in front of you, right? What made you even show up to this workshop at 5 o'clock? Now, and I said mindset is very important because if you don't have the proper mindset, you'll never achieve your goals. If I'm not serious about being intentional with my time, if I'm not serious about paying off my credit cards on time, or saving up enough money to purchase a house, or putting a college saving strategy in place for my children, or, you know, making sure that I have enough to create a legacy. If I'm not mindful with getting up, working, or thinking about other opportunities to make money, this is all for naught. This is where you're wasting your own time. So mindfulness is one of the most important things that you have to really focus on, right? You have to be intentional. Nothing could get in the way of your focus on achieving your goals. So you have to set the pace. You have to have the right mindset going into your everyday life, going into coming up with a strategy to get to your goals. It's period. I don't work with people who don't have the mindset to say that I'm going to achieve this goal, or I want to achieve this goal and I need help doing it. I need your help, or I need someone's help to get it done. I can't do it on my own. All right. That's step number one. You recognize that you can't do it on your own. Great. What's next? Let me help you out in that phase. And that rolls into accountability. Accountability is one of the biggest things because who's checking you, right? If you're the one who's checking you, what happens if you don't hit that goal, right? What happens if you don't show up? What's the next step? Are you allowing yourself to do the things you did before in the past, even if you did not do the things that you set out for? You know, what are you doing to make those necessary changes to get where you want to be? You can write that down. What are you doing? And we'll circle back. Who do you have in place that you could count on to make sure that you're achieving your goals? What I do with my coaching clients every single month, we have an hour-long dialogue where we're talking about finances. And I'm going to apply tasks, right? If I'm like, hey, all right, make sure you pay off this credit card by next month, and next month rolls around, the first question I'm going to ask you, did you pay off that credit card? And if you have an excuse, my whole thing is like, I don't do excuses. It's get it done. You didn't start this path to not get it done, right? So if you don't have someone to count on, find someone. You need it. You need that accountability partner, because there's going to be times when you get tired. There's going to be times where you go back to your old ways, especially if you've been doing things wrong for a long period of time. Wrong or right, if you've been doing it the way you did it before and you were receiving the wrong, or you're receiving the results that are not what you want, you're doing it wrong. Do it different. What's the worst that could happen? It works. It's that simple, right? But you got to make sure that you have people around you that can make you accountable for your actions. And you also, as your last check-in, being that accountability person for your own self, as well as having somebody else do it for you. Next is, have you said it out loud, right? Having goals or making a change, like you could keep that inside all you want. That does nothing. But as soon as you say it out loud and you start telling people, like, hey, I'm buying a house this year. Hey, I'm getting out of debt this year. Hey, 2022 is going to be my year because I'm going to boss up. I'm going to make money. I'm going to do whatever it is that you set it out for and you want to do this year, and you ain't said it out loud, then you're fooling yourself. I'm going to be very honest with you. You're fooling yourself. Go ahead and say it. Say it to me. Say it to whoever. And make sure that you follow up and you double down. Why not? Why not? And lastly, what have you done today? What have you done today to work towards whatever it is you're trying to change? Or is it still stuck in your mind? Right? I woke up today, I said, you know what? I haven't been doing my yoga on my Wednesdays. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, you know what? I'm up anyway. Go ahead and get your session in. And I did it. I did that today, and I plan on doing it every single Wednesday and multiple days, but every single Wednesday. Wednesday is my day, and that's when I do it, right? That's the mindset. I'm keeping myself accountable, and I'm telling you guys that I'm going to get up every Wednesday to get it done, and that's how it works. It's that simple. Now, let's go into goals, because this is a very important piece where a lot of people will just say, yeah, my goal is to buy a house. My goal is to do X, Y, and Z. And then as they go through their day-to-day lives, they see how difficult it may be, or they just forget about it, or they just, it just sounds good saying it, but they don't have a plan or action behind it. So there's 3 types of goals that you should know, right? One of the goals is a realistic goal. The second goal is a specific goal, and the last goal is a challenging goal, right? Now, you could have any combination of the 3. You could have one challenging one, but then you could have some realistic, working into specific goals to work towards that challenging goal. So now, to give you an example of a realistic goal, is if I wanted to save $50 a week. So what I'll do is every time I get paid, I'll put in an automatic draft of $50 every single week. If I get paid weekly, for example, and every week I'll save that $50. That's realistic. I could do that. It's set where I could go in online and set it up, and it's done. Goal completed every week, right? But now if I wanted to save $6,000, right? That's how I'm gonna do it. It may be a challenging goal, but guess what? I'm doing something realistic, and I'm doing something somewhat specific for me to achieve that challenging goal of $6,000 at the end of the year. A specific goal would be, I'm taking a family trip to St. Vincent this September. All right, well, I have a destination, I have a time and a place, and I'm going with my family. Now, that trip is going to cost me $4,000. Okay, well, that's a specific goal that I'm looking to achieve at that point in time. My question is how do I get there? So going back to a realistic goal is, all right, this is going to feed into my specific goal, which is for me to take a family trip to St. Vincent in September. It's going to cost me $4,000. Now I could kind of reverse engineer how much money do I need to save every check or every week, every time I get paid to equate to $4,000 so I could pay for this trip. Is that easy, right? But you always have to have some kind of strategy when it comes down to attacking your goals. Last one is challenging. And this is the one that's going to push you. This is the one that's going to take a little bit more time than overnight. But an example would be $100,000 in my investment account in the next 5 years. Well, how would I go about doing that? Well, I'll go about doing that by coming up with a strategy to say, all right, how much do I need to save per year to get me to $100,000? One. Second, how much interest do I need at the very minimum to get my account to grow as I'm still saving into it to get to that $100,000 in the next 5 years? So just to go back, you got realistic, specific, and challenging. Those are the three goals that you have to have in mind. Those are the three things that you need to make sure that if this is a new year and you're trying to achieve a new you have to have a combination of these three goals. It's that you have to have it, right? You have to, and tell these goals to someone. Tell them to yourself, write them down, keep them in front of you. The best thing and the best feeling on earth is when you actually achieve one of your goals, especially a challenging goal. That feeling of purchasing a new house or making your last credit card payment or writing a check so your child could go to school, to go to college, or you going on a 5,000 to 10,000 European vacation. That feels amazing because you're the one who did it. You had the mindset to make sure that nothing got in your way to achieving your goals. But you also need help getting there because, as I said, you need to make sure that you have somebody behind you that's going to make you accountable, that's going to push you, that's going to make sure that you achieve what you set out for. Now, let's talk about implementation, right? Now, you got to make your mind up. You got to make your mind up on what you want to do. You got your goal, you got your accountability partner, you said it out loud, you wrote it down, but you got to make your mind up and make it happen, right? One of the sayings I go by is, it's a spinoff of Nike. Nike is just do it. A lot of my sayings is just do it. It's do it. It's not just nothing. Do it. There's no excuses. There's no gray area. Do it. You say you're going to work out this morning? Do it. You say you're going to save that $50 a week? Do it. You say you're going to pay down your credit card debt versus going out and spending more money? Do it. Don't BS yourself. Make your mind up. If you are serious about being a new person and applying new strategies and different strategies, or even doing the opposite of what you've been doing, guess what? Make your mind up and do it. Say it out loud. Find somebody to keep you accountable. Find help. You know, work with a financial coach, work with an advisor, a debt manager, a CPA, CFP, a tax provider, whoever. Because you need, especially when it's in finance, you need multiple people helping you out. Me being a financial coach, I work with other advisors. I work with money managers. I work with estate planners. I work with lawyers. I work with CPAs, CFP, whoever. I work with them. My job is to be on your side of the table, making sure that you make the right decision, period. Sit. You know? So what the Theo group is just that. We work with individuals. We work with couples. We work with businesses to help them vet out the right financial decision or the right decision to make. We look at both sides. Sometimes people have the right and the best decision, but they're nervous that they feel like they may be setting themselves up for something that's too great for them, or they don't have the confidence behind it. So they might call someone like me, or they will call someone like me just so I could look at it, so I could vet it to see both sides to make sure that, yes, you are making that right move, or no, you're not. Or be that person to say, hey, I need help setting this goal. I want to buy a house. Well, guess what? All right, well, have you started saving? No. Well, shit, we got to start from somewhere. Let's go. Let's get it started. And then we're going to talk every single month until you buy that house. My job is to be accountable for you. My job is to help you make those right decisions. My job is to help you explain the benefits and the products that are out there to benefit yourself and your family. That's what my job is. That's what we do at the Theo Group. And that's what we're doing with Cool Dads. To give you this bits of information, this bit of financial literacy that is not privy to all of us. I wasn't taught this in junior high, high school, college, after college, until I fell into this field. I always had a passion for it. I always wanted to know more, but I never had the opportunity to fall into this, to be educated unless I went out there to seek that education. You know, I have a background in education, so I know how to teach people in a 10,000-foot view on how to understand and how to implement certain things for you to be able to digest it. There are people who like going into the weeds. I could go into the weeds if we really want to, but for the most part is how can it benefit you? How can it benefit your family? And this is how you do it. That's that. That's what we do at the Theo Group. So I want to open up to Q&A. We got about 20 minutes left, and I want to make sure that I got a good dialogue, man. I want to see if I can help some people within this call. So Milton, could you bring some people up or open up some mics so we could talk? Mr. McCall, I think we could try to, I'm gonna want to bring you up if we can. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Was this anything of interest to you?
It's good information.
May I ask, what were you looking for? What brought you to this call?
My wife signed me up for this call.
Okay.
So
where is she at?
She's right here.
Oh, do you have any questions, Miss McCall?
I'm actually getting ready to jump on another meeting. But I saw the Cool Dads and saw that it was kind of promoting, well, not promoting, but it was towards for fathers, and there's not a lot of things that are specific for men or for dads. So we are planning to get a house.
Okay.
So a lot of times, with budgeting and stuff like that, couples don't agree. So I thought this might have been good for him to kind of get that information from a man as opposed to me saying things to him about it. So
Absolutely. Okay. And I'm gonna take that and run with it. I'm gonna take it and run with it. So in a lot of situations, especially with dealing with couples, dealing with married couples, you have two different opinions, right? You have the spouse's point of view, and then you have the other spouse's point of view. And then it's like, okay, where do we align in the middle? Because at the end of the day, you're married and you guys have a union, and the biggest thing is to be on the same page. Because once being on the same page, there's no friction because you know what to expect. You know exactly how to digest the information from the other party. So in this instance, right? Let's say the house. The biggest thing is like we have to first identify the pain points. Mr. McCall, what's your hesitation with purchasing the house or the amount of the house or whatever it is? Ms. McCall, why do you want the house and why do you want this price, right? And finding a way or looking at your situation and say, okay, let's say Ms. McCall, and don't beat me up, all right? Let's say you want to get a house for $800,000 and Mr. McCall's like, yeah, we could afford it, but that's now we're going to be house rich, cash poor. Doesn't make sense. Now, my job is to say, okay, so it sounds like Mr. McCall wants the house, but what's the happy medium? What's the price or what's the amount that you guys could afford and still live comfortably, save comfortably, save enough for retirement, and both be happy and be excited about purchasing a house, which is not afforded to everyone, right? So in that regard, that's where a dialogue. I mean, I'm not going to put you guys on blast in front of everyone, but that's the dialogue that needs to happen, right? So
exactly.
if you want to apply, if you want to get there, okay, what's the hesitation? Why not? Right? Why not?
Mhm.
So the budgeting piece now, that's one of America's biggest pain points. And right before this call, I just had a conversation with a client about budgeting. And I'll give you the tidbit, right? Sometimes, yes, you do have unexpected things, but then you do have hard items. And I would tell you to go back to Cool Dads and look at one of our previous episodes on budgeting. And I break down how to actually come up with a budget, how to categorize your everyday hardcore expenses, and then how to also look at your miscellaneous expenses that may not be on a month-to-month basis, but they do occur. So what do you do in that regard? And I'm gonna just tell you high level. You go back 3 months, look at your bank account, look at all your spending, your credit card, your savings account, your investment accounts, your retirement. Look at all your accounts, 3 months, and do an average. Everything divided by 3. Just so for each line item, let's say your rent, your utilities, your car payments, whatever it is, every single area of where you're spending, you want to do a 3-month average, and that'll give you an idea on what to have for a budget. And then you're going to start to look at what you need to do to actually have a actual budget. So like, where is this money going? And also, where's your, what's coming in versus what's going out. So I could definitely in that regard help you out. But my tidbit is take that advice, look 3 months back. Right? It may take an hour, but it's an hour well spent, because once you know what's coming in and what's going out, you'll make the right adjustments. You'll see where those pain points are. You'll see where you're overspending or underspending. You'll see if something is like, if you're bleeding money in different areas. me and my wife just did a budget not too long ago. We realized how many subscriptions we were paying for. And I'm like, this is crazy. Let's start cutting them. But you got to do it. You have to have those means. Unfortunately, within couples, the financial conversation is one of the hardest conversations. I'm sorry, it is. But it has to happen because, as I said earlier, you want to be on the same page. You want to make sure that everything is out in the open. There's no surprises. So you can land in a place to where it's okay, we can't afford this house. We can't purchase this house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sweet. I think Ron, let me move on to Rhonda. Rhonda, you on?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, Rhonda, was this helpful?
Yes, it was. It was helpful.
Do you have any questions?
No, not really. I took my notes about my goals, and I actually found out about you guys through an association through our child care. They sent us all an email, so that's how I got on the class.
That's how you got here. Okay, sweet. What's your goal? Say it out loud. Let me hear them.
My goal is to expand and open up a second location.
Okay. What are you doing today to make sure that you're expanding to get to that second location?
Okay, right now I'm working with the lender to get approved for a loan for the building. I am paying down credit cards and just making sure I'm not touching my savings. That's all I'm doing right now.
So expansion in your mind is priority number one.
Yes.
Nothing could get in the way of that, right?
Yes.
You better say a little bit more confident than that. Yes, you are. Nothing can get in the way. That's the game plan, right? You
Nothing can get in the way.
You got to be excited about it. If something does come in the way, and another motto I go by, and it's from Michael Jordan. He says, if an obstacle gets in your way, he will find a way around it, over it, or through it to get to his goal, or to get to wherever he's trying to get to. So I will challenge you to have that mindset when it comes to this expansion.
Okay.
Right? And that's the way you do it. And make sure that you continue to do what's necessary to get to it. Right. And if there's a roadblock or something that's stumbling up where, that's going to make you something to where you don't get it, let's say within the next 6 months as you plan, but that doesn't mean to stop. That means keep on working. That's just another obstacle. Get around it. Keep going until you do get it. And then you make your next goal from that point. But I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you chiming in. I'll take another question if we have anyone else on the line. All right. Okay, I have something in the chat. Okay. It was more so for the budget. It was more so as far as looking more into 6 months than 3 months. Yes, but identify where you have spent the majority of your money, right? And look at that, because those are areas where you could save or scale back. And I was just telling my client prior to this call, she's a shopper, right? She loves shopping. And I understand that sometimes it's a stress reliever for certain people. So I'm never one to say stop shopping, but I am one to say let's cut back on the amount of shopping. Also, let's create certain rewards for yourself, right? If you're able to save X amount 1 month, okay, you allowed yourself to go shopping the following month. Or if you pay down this credit card, you're allowing yourself to shop, for X amount of dollars. So whatever it is, kind of make it a game in a sense to make sure that, you are having a proper budget. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much it. I see one other person popped up. Lolita, you got a
Yes.
question? Hey, what's going on? You got a question?
I don't have a question.
Okay. Was anything that stood out during the workshop that was helpful, or any kind of takeaways? Nothing? Okay. All right. So just to wrap this up. So what I'm looking for is to help 25 people. I'm looking to help 25 people out of this call because it's a full session. And I want to make sure that I extend this offer to everyone. For those who are on this call, you all get a free financial consultation. It's a 30-minute call one-on-one with me, and we'll be able to kind of vet out, to see if I could be of service to you, if I can help you. Because at the end of the day, I do want to help you. And those who are Cool Dad members, they will get a 25% off their first financial coaching session, right? So if you got to be a member to get the 25 off, but everyone on this call gets a free 30-minute consultation. And you could get that at going to my website, which is Theo, TheoGRP.com. TheoGRP.com, or you could call me at 202-505-1794. 202-505-1794. We already have our session link for next month already on the Cool Dad website. Please, please, please take your time out now, because this one filled up pretty quickly, to book your seat. All right. Any other questions? If not, that's it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the level of participation that I received. I want this to be impactful, right? I want you guys to leave here in the mindset: new year, new you. New year, new you. Now go out there and do it. Don't make excuses. Do it.